Hey everybody, it's Mandy from Travel Forge. So I did a short on this a couple months ago about canning rings and should you leave your rings on once you're done canning and they're sealed and they're sitting on the shelf. So I didn't learn about this until, Sad hung my peppers up. Aren't they so pretty? I just saw them. Anyway, should you leave your canning rings on? You should not. So I only learned about this probably in like the beginning of COVID maybe. So like, I don't know, 2021-ish, something like that, somewhere in that ballpark. I was researching about leaving your canning rings on, and this guy was talking about should you leave them on or should you not. And now I'm like, wow, how did I not know this? But you can't know what you don't know. So basically you should not leave your canning rings on, because if you have a false seal, or you have a seal that goes bad, or you do have something building up in there and it makes some gases and blows the lid off because something's bad, you're not going to know. So I've never like had a jar explode or anything, but I've certainly had jars that the seal went bad in storage. It happens. I actually did a video a couple weeks ago about reorganizing the pantry, and I had a jelly from like 2020 that the ring was on it, and I didn't realize until I started reorganizing some things and I pushed on it and the seal was bad. So had the ring not been on that, I would have known right away, because I would have seen it like popped off and whatever. So when you're done canning everything, you sit everything on your towel on your counter. Okay, Zuzu needed to join me. Anyway, so you sit them on your towel, let them sit overnight or whatever you do, check them, they're all sealed. You should take your rings off, wipe everything down, and then store it. So what I'm working on today is I have mostly jams and jellies, I think, that have their rings on, because that's pretty much the oldest thing I have in the pantry. Almost everything else is only from last year. Maybe a couple things from 2021, but I went really hog wild on the jams and jellies during COVID. And I have, hold on one second, stand right there. I have 2 shelves right here and right here that are all jams, jellies, marmalades, conserves, the whole thing. And a lot of them, a lot of them still have their rings on. So what I'm working on today is I have all these jars on the floor here that sorry, I'm like stepping over everything. So I have all these jars on the floor, stuff that I canned this week that I need to start making space for. I know that I have space on these shelves, but I need to do a little bit of shuffling around. I have some like half-gallon jars on this shelf and some lids and whatever. They really could find a new home. But my goal today is to go through these jams and jellies, get the rings off of them, make sure everybody's still good. It's really something I should have done like while we were moving or something, but it was just, moving was way too chaotic to worry about taking rings off of jars. So I have a little bit of time today. I need to get this stuff on the shelf anyway. So this PSA is really just to tell you that when you're done with your canning stuff, you need to take the rings off of them so that you know that the seals are good. You can keep a better eye on things in storage and in your pantries. I've also gotten a lot of questions about, well, now I have all these rings, especially if you're just getting into canning and you're buying, new jars that come with lids and rings. You wind up having all these extra rings, and what do you do with those? So I keep like, I don't know, 50 of each maybe, or maybe that's a lie. I probably have like a trash bag full that's mixed of wide and regular, and I just keep that on hand. And otherwise, it's so, hi Susu. Hi. It seems so wasteful, but I send them off to scrap because I just don't need that many. And I know there's a zillion crafts you can do with them, and you can do all, Susu, you're such a ham. All these things you can do with rings or whatever, but I figure at least that way they're getting recycled. If you're in a position where you have plenty of jars and you're not buying any new ones, you might not have this problem. I feel like I never have enough jars. So we have had to buy several flats of jars this year because I wanted to put up a lot of new things, and I have a bigger pantry, so I need to fill it. But anyway, that's what we do with the extra rings, is we send them off to the scrap yard, especially like once they're getting rusty and crappy, they definitely are going to the scrap yard. But I don't need thousands of rings. I have thousands of jars in here. I don't need thousands of rings. So we send those off to the scrap yard and try to do our best to make sure that those get recycled. So that's what I am working on today. I have a lot of great videos up right now. Blueberry pie filling, peach pie filling. Oh my gosh, what else did we do? We did pickled grape tomatoes. We did French onion soup. We did some grape juice. So many good things we put on the shelf this year. Canned rhubarb. I really was working to do new things on the shelf this year, and it's been really fun. So that's where we're at with this. If you have questions about my pantry, as I've mentioned, I'll do a full pantry tour at the end of preservation season. So sometime in maybe like November or something like that, once all the shelves are totally filled. But if you have questions about storage, if you have questions about extended pantries or safe storage of canned goods or things like that, let me know. We'll see you next time.